Ooh, wasabi guys, coming back at you with another video. It's Void, and we're going to be starting another series here called In Retrospect. Now, it is basically exactly what it sounds like. We're going to be looking at more recent sets, and this time we're obviously going to be going over Hour of Devastation because we've had our assumptions, we've made assumptions, we've estimated a certain value of cards, we've estimated their playability, where they're going to see play, and this is mainly going to be a series addressing whether I got something wrong or whether the community as a whole got something wrong, or if something is exactly the way we thought it would be, or if a card's value is really what it is. We were just in thinking that it was a good card, stuff like that. So let's start off here with the first thing here, and the first thing will be noted here is that Solemnity is absolutely incredible. This would be one that I would say, like, the community as a whole, we got this right. Looking at the card, I mean, anything that says an opponent can't do something, or anything that says players can't do anything, like a lot of the cards in this set have, it's always going to be very good. It's always, like, hate cards have always interested me, and I know they interest a lot of players. But this isn't one of those oppressive cards. It's more or less just, in Commander especially, it would be more trying to force players to play around it rather than just oppressing them and keeping them from doing anything they want to do. Whereas in Modern, obviously, if you haven't heard already, the Phyrexian Unlife combo has been taking over, and you have Geralf's Messenger and a sack outlet. You have that infinite combo right there that wins you the game, and there's just a lot of power, and there's just not enough enchantment hate in Modern to really deal with it right now, or there's not enough people that are willing to sideboard enchantment hate at this moment. So it's still a very new deck, and it's kind of catching people off guard right now. It's a very powerful card, and definitely, I think, very, very good assessment. Definitely, this was, I think, my number 2 card on my top 10 Commander cards list. So to see that it's having such a big impact in Modern is very good. Next, we have the fact that great cards can be reprinted. We saw Rumming Up Excavator here, which isn't technically a reprint, yes, but it might as well be. They could have very well have just reprinted Crucible of Worlds. It's not on the reserve list or anything, so there wasn't really any reason why they couldn't have, other than to preserve its value that it has. So the fact that they reprinted its ability on a 3-mana creature, with the only drawback being that creatures are easier to deal with than artifacts, it's not that big of a downgrade. So to be honest, they could have reprinted Crucible and it would have had almost no impact. If you look at decks now playing Rumming Up Excavator, they're not too overpowered. I mean, obviously, this card was printed at the right time. Any earlier, and you probably would have had to deal with the fetch lands, and that would honestly be way too much advantage in having those lands just every single turn, being able to play lands from your graveyard and trigger stuff like landfall. Oh my god, what nightmare that would have been. Then we have more or less just a flavor purpose here, and that's great villains matter. And I think after spending a couple years screwing around with the Eldrazi, being disappointed about how anticlimactic those battles were, I mean, it's definitely refreshing when you have an enemy in Nicol Bolas who is just extremely competent, if not the most competent character in the multiverse. He's extremely intelligent. He's able to best just about any other character, any other planeswalker. I mean, honestly, we're talking about his journey, trying to regain his godhood, trying to restore any power that he once held, and it's just so entertaining just reading the lore right now, reading the story of Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, just his power, just unleashing all of this chaos upon Amonkhet right now, and it's definitely something worth reading if you have the chance. He's just an incredibly badass character, and I think we all appreciate good villains, whether it's in movies, literature, or in a card game. I mean, he's just awesome, and I think everybody was excited for this block for that specific reason, that we were getting the return of Nicol Bolas. It had been a while since we had last seen him, so definitely amazing, especially considering the fact that he talks. He has his own character. He's very nihilistic, very narcissistic, very condescending. I mean, he definitely has every right to be. I mean, his power is just overwhelming. And it's just very entertaining to see a character like that, almost to the point where you root for the villain, considering about how much hate the Gatewatch has received over the years. Very entertaining. Then we go on to support as a whole. We have been given a lot of good support from this set, and in particular we have Sphinx Tribal, we have the Three Gods, just great themes here. We have the Wither strategy potential for the Scorpion God. You have just good Izzet card draw themes that you can think up with the Locust God, and you have the Scarab God for zombies. There's just a lot of interesting support here that we got, in addition to Solemnity, Ramanop Excavator, good removal spells in here as well, you know, and of course Nicol Bolas Planeswalker is definitely a very good addition to any Super Friends deck. So you have just a ton of support, unlike in Amonkhet, where we had the idea for Hepatra as a commander, and you might have had a little bit of support here and there, but it wasn't anything significant. Not like this set, where we just have a ton of versatility and removal and just good options overall. And definitely, I can't wait to acquire more of these cards just so I can play, test, experiment, and just, you know, they're a lot of fun. Then we have the last thing I'll look back on here, and that is just the support for Pauper. Cards I like to point out here, obviously Firebrand Archer. There's potential for potential Storm decks, although it's very hard and not as viable in Pauper. And the obvious comparison would be to Thermo Alchemist. But there's also a card called Striped Riverwinder, which is a 5/5 with hexproof, and you can pay 1 blue to cycle him. Just a ton of fun here. I mean, very hard to remove him in this format, so you have just decks that are going to be struggling trying to get rid of him, so you have to really hope that you can trade in combat to deal with him, because you're really not going to be able to remove him at all. And quite possibly one of the best cards that come out of this entire set, Life Goes On, the 1-mana green spell here. I mean, you can gain 4 life for 1 green, or you can gain 8 life for 1 green, whatever it is. It's just good protection from burn, and in Pauper, burn is very viable. You have lava spikes, you have lightning bolts, you have chain lightning, you have a lot of good efficient burn spells, and it's easy to get behind early on, and having a card that can gain you a ton of life for just 1 green mana is just insane. So overall, I mean, I just love the support for non-standard sets in Hour of Devastation. We didn't get that in Amonkhet. We got more or less just standard focus cards. So it's definitely good to see that change. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to do more of these in the future. I will definitely try to do so. Anyway, Void here, signing off. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.